So just another quick disclaimer before this video begins. I did manage to experience most of the stadiums in this video, and I have done throughout my time watching Stags. There are a few that I haven't been to, so just bear that in mind on most of these opinions that I am giving in this video. Don't get mad at me if I have made a opinion that you disagree with regarding your team's stadium, but I'll do my best to give an educated opinion on every stadium which I have at least been able to experience myself. But out of the way, getting into the video now, and we're going to be going from 24th place to first place in stadiums ranked. And as you can see on the screen here, the first team is Barrow AFC, and their home is Holker Street, and this is going to be the 24th place stadium. Now, this is a very tin pot stadium, in my opinion. I did go and watch my team Mansfield play at Holker Street last season, so I can give a quite well-educated opinion here. The away end is not very good at all. There is only about 100 or so seats, and the rest is standing. However, when you stand just to the left of the seating area, there is a big glass wall or plastic wall, or however you want to say it. I believe it's see-through plastic actually, and this separates the away fans from the home fans in that behind the goal area, and the away end curves around a corner, which is not the best of views for away fans, but you have to deal with these things sometimes, and this plastic thing blocked the view of the goal, so it was very difficult to see the goals that went in at that end of the pitch, which is why the away end isn't very good at all. However, they do have that one stand with all the seats in that says Barrow on it, just to the lengthways with the dugouts in front, which is, it's not the greatest of stands, but at least they do have a sort of main stand, if you want to even call it that. So Holker Street is going to be 24th for me. Now, moving on to 23rd position, and I've given this to Wetherby Road, home to Harrogate Town. I believe it's also called the Envirovent Stadium because of sponsorship reasons now. However, it is going to be in 23rd place due to the fact there's not 4 stands, there's about 6. There's like a couple in the corner. It's not a very big ground, and one of the worst sound systems I've ever seen in my life. In the away end, it was playing one part of a song, while in the main stand, it was playing a different part of a song. So they need to sort that sound system out, which it was really bugging me. But it's not. It's a decent non-league stadium, I'd say, because it is very close to the pitch. The back of the net was almost touching the barrier which blocks the away fans from getting onto the pitch, which I do like how lower league club stadiums have the pitch very close to the stands. It's very good. You can feel more involved in the game. However, Harrogate Town are 23rd position for their Wetherby Road Stadium, as it is not the greatest of grounds. Okay, moving on again to 22nd position, and we're going to be giving this to Gander Green Lane, or the VBS Community Stadium of Sutton United. Now, this has a capacity of 5,013, which is not the biggest. A decent non-league ground again, but bringing that up into the professional leagues is not going to be the greatest. A poor away end. I didn't actually go to experience the stadium, however, a couple of friends did, and the information brought back was not good. Terrible away end, and just not the greatest of grounds overall. The pitch seems far away from the stands, and the stands aren't very big. Not the greatest capacity, which is why Gander Green Lane, you are 22nd place for stadium ranking. Okay, moving on again to 21st place, and this goes to the Peninsula Stadium, home to Salford City. Now, this is again not a very good ground. It was actually the last league away game that I did attend at the Peninsula Stadium, Mansfield Town away at Salford City. And also, A very annoying thing about this ground is that it's not even in Salford, which did annoy me. I have got a sort of OCD thing for things like this, and that is why Salford get minus marks for that, and they are all the way down because their stadium has only just got a 5,000 capacity, 5,100 or so, I do believe, and it is not a very good stadium. The away end is literally made out of metal, like you stand on metal is what I mean. It's not the greatest. However, the pitch is also like tilted, and you can see that by the way that the stand moves up at a slight angle when you're looking at the opposite goal. That is why Salford City's ground is going this low for me. So that is 21st place for the Peninsula Stadium. Okay, moving on again here to 20th place, we have got the People's Pension Stadium, home to Crawley Town. Again, this stadium isn't a very big stadium with just a 6,100 capacity. Again, the main stand isn't so bad where all the seats are, and then on the opposite side to that, the other length of the pitch, there is what seems, it looks like a very temporary stand, which is also a seated stand, and then they do have the two behind the goal stands, which are standing areas. There is a little bit of seating for the away fans, but it is mostly standing, and it'd be decent for the National League. However, in League Two, it's just a below average ground, I'd say, just before we get to average League Two grounds. Crawley Town, 20th place for your stadium right now. Maybe with the new owners, they can upgrade their ground and move somewhere bigger and better, but we'll have to wait and see. Now then, moving on into 19th position, we have got Victoria Park, home to Hartlepool United, and I would say this is more of your average League Two ground, where it's got four sides, nice tucked in, cosy ground, but there are unfortunately 18 better stadiums than this, in my opinion, which is why it is just going to be in 19th. This is another ground that I didn't get to experience last season. However, it does look pretty decent from what I've seen, but 19th place seems fair considering the rest of the grounds in this video. Now moving on again then to 18th position, we've got Rodney Parade, home to Newport County AFC in South Wales. Now I did get to experience this stadium and I didn't like it too much. I'm not a fan of the sort of triangular roofs which are on many of the stadiums. A good example of what I mean would be Oldham's away end, how it goes up and then back down like it's a roof on a house. I do not like these stands, and unfortunately for Newport, they do have one of those just on the for the main stand, I do believe. And then there is that nice, more modern looking stand where the away fans are housed on the opposite side to the main stand area, which is not too bad, but it's um, it's the only sort of modern stand. It's sort of a mix between modern and old-fashioned for Newport. And then behind each goal, they have a stand that is only used for rugby games, and then a open roof terrace on the other side, which never really gets used, which is why Newport County are in 18th place for me. Their stadium, Rodney Parade, does have a 7,800 capacity, which is towards the lower end of the clubs in this video, but 18th place, Rodney Parade. Okay, moving on again then into 17th position, and this goes to Sixfields with a capacity of 7,700, home to Northampton Town. And now they do have one unfinished stand, which unfortunately does possibly bump their mark down a little bit, in my opinion. But the main stand is not awful. I mean, it looks a little bit run down after. It's not like when I want to look at the seats, I want to look at the vibrant club colours. However, the seats do look a little bit weathered when looking at the ground. these are things that I notice. So unfortunately for Northampton, it's 17th place for the six fields, and also the behind the goal areas stands, they aren't too good. They're not very big, which is why 17th place for Northampton. I did get to experience this stadium twice last season, and the first time was a traumatic experience, and the second time was pure elation. But that is football, and 17th place Northampton, six fields. There you have it. Okay, now into 16th position here, and as you can see, we have got Brisbane Road in 16th, which is home to Leyton Orient, and their stadium capacity is 9,200, which is quite the average capacity here for most of these grounds. Its middle ground stadium is not too bad. Nice four-sided ground, but one of the stands is made of wood and seems like it could fall at any moment, that is the stand which does hold the away supporters. And there are actually apartment blocks in every corner of the ground, which doesn't seem too bad, but it's a unique design, which is why I'm going to give them 16th ahead of some of the other grounds just below them. Moving on again now into 15th position, and we have got Blundell Park. Now, this is not too bad of a ground. Another one of the grounds where it is not in the town of the club. This is Grimsby Town, but their ground is in Cleethorpes, which is, of course, that kind of thing that does annoy me, as I mentioned earlier. The home of Fish and Chips, however, does has a pretty decent stadium, your average League Two stadium. It's a nice main stand there, which does tower over the Cleethorpes streets. You can see it quite far. However, it does annoy me that it doesn't stretch the full length of the pitch, and the rest of the ground isn't too bad. It's your nice average League Two ground with a 9,500 capacity, I do believe, which is why I'm giving Blundell Park a 15th position. Unfortunately, this is a ground I haven't yet experienced. Moving on again into 14th, and this is my club's ground, Mansfield Town. And I do believe we have a pretty good stadium. And should we get that fourth stand in, it would be an even better stadium. However, I do think 9,100 capacity is pretty decent level of capacity for League Two, and the main stand is a very beautiful stand, if I must say so myself. Especially from the inside, it does look very good. The blue and yellow matches very nicely, and we have a pretty decent sized away end, which makes for a good away support from many teams. And we do have the other Quarry Lane end, which is a decent stand. The noise does mainly come from the upper tier of the main stand, which is quite a big amount of noise, if I do say so, and that is why Field Mill goes into 14th position. Now moving on again into 13th position, and we have Brunton Park with a capacity of 18,200. It is not too bad of a ground, however, it's also another ground with a mix of stand styles, if you like. The big stand where the away fans are housed on the length of the pitch, they have the few blocks on the end. That is a very modern stand, a nice looking stand. However, the rest of the stands do look quite old fashioned and not very nice. The main stand that I don't like is the one behind the goal, where it has those three triangular roofs. It just looks like it could have just been a factory. So 13th place for Brunton Park. Even though the capacity is very big, the stadium doesn't look too great, and it could do with a bit of renovation, to be honest. So 13th place for Brunton Park. Maybe it could have been higher, but I do think many of these stadiums do look better, which is quite a lot of what I am basing this off. As we move into 12th position for the MOUNFLAKE Stadium, home to Crewe Alexandra. Now, this is not too bad of a stadium. The main stand, as you can see on that picture, is pretty big and does look quite decent. but the rest of the ground is quite small, so the capacity of the stadium is actually 10,100, which isn't too bad at this level, but the ground again is one I have not been able to visit yet. So I can't say too much on this ground, but from pictures I'm going to give it the 12th position. Now then, moving on again to 11th position, which is the LAMEX Stadium, home to Stevenage Football Club, with a capacity of 6,700. Another ground I did get to go and experience last season when my team Mansfield just made it out of their winning run. We first beat Stevenage away at the LAMEX, which is a very nice ground if I do say so myself. A thing I do like about grounds is when all the stands are the exact same height. There's no um, deviation in height, and I do like that about Stevenage's ground, how every stand is the same height, and it just looks very neat and tidy in that ground, and it is close to the pitch, making for a good experience all round. That is why the LAMEX Stadium is in 11th place for me. Okay, moving on again to the top 10 stadiums in the league, and we have in 10th place got Plough Lane. Now, I'm not sure if this is a real picture of it, but it is at least a representation of it. Now, Plough Lane is a very nice looking modern stadium. I do like the way it goes all the way around the pitch, and again, another ground I haven't been able to go and experience just yet, but from looking at the ground and seeing videos online, I'm going to go with a 10th place for Plough Lane here in this stadium ranking. Okay, now into ninth position, and as you can see on the screen, we have the JOBSERVE Community Stadium, home to Colchester United of Essex. Now, this stadium has a capacity of 10,100, the same as the MOUNFLAKE Stadium. And now I do like the stadium. It's a nice new and modern stadium, which does have 4 stands all the way around the ground, and it does look pretty decent. Again, another ground I didn't quite get to experience yet, but it does look pretty decent from here. I'm guessing if this stadium was packed, it would be quite a nice one to be in. But looking at the pictures, such as this one, it does look pretty decent with all 4 stands, nice colours, and that is why JOBSERVE Community Stadium makes it into 9th position for me. Okay, now into 8th position, and we have the Priestfield Stadium here, home to Gillingham. Now, this could have been higher had the away end not been a temporary standstill. It's been like that for quite a while, but 8th place seems pretty decent. Not being able to experience this ground, of course, as they have just came down from League One. However, it doesn't look too bad, and I wouldn't mind going to visit this one. The away end, however, might be temporary, but it is big, and that does allow for a lot of away following. And yeah, 8th position for Gillingham here doesn't seem too bad in my opinion. Let me know if you agree. Now then, moving on again, we have got the Crown Oil Arena, home to Rochdale AFC here. And again, I like this ground due to the fact that 3 of the stands are the same height, and that nice little standing area is also very nice. To be honest, the fans did let this stadium down. They didn't do it the justice it deserved, as it was a nice little ground, decent. It's pretty much the same as Priestfield Stadium here. It was a tough choice around this area of the table to put them in order, but the Crown Oil Arena made it into 7th in my opinion. Now then, moving on again into 6th position, we have got Edgeley Park, home to Stockport County, and this is a very decent ground here with a capacity of 10,800. Now, I've given them 6th position because of the niceness of this ground, how close it is to the pitch. The main big stand at the back of that picture there looks very decent indeed, and Edgeley Park is going 6th for me. Hopefully, I can try and get there to experience it this season, but I have not yet experienced this ground, so I can't say too much on this topic. But Edgeley Park, 6th position. Now moving on again, and in 5th place we have got the County Ground, home to Swindon Town, and with a capacity of 15,700, this is a very decent ground. So got the two big long stands there, one of them having Swindon in the big white letters on the red seats. Again, a ground I didn't get to experience yet, but hopefully I can experience it at some point because it does seem nice. A nice ground, close to the pitch, and then you get a lot of fans in there, and it could generate a lot of noise, which is why the county ground is going into 5th position for me. Now moving on again to 4th position, and yes, it is the Banks Stadium, another very nice stadium in my opinion, with a capacity of 11,300. That big stand that you can see off of the motorway on pretty much every other away day that you go to. The Bank Stadium is a very decent ground here, a nice big away end, making for some good away followings and some good atmospheres in this stadium. It is a stadium that I did get to experience, however, did not manage to take any documentation of it on my phone. But Bank Stadium, I did enjoy my time there. However, my team did lose 3-1, but it was a decent atmosphere from the Stags fans, so we will give it a nice 4th place finish on the Banks Stadium. Okay, and we are into the top three now, and you can see my 3rd place on the screen here is Prenton Park, home of Tranmere Rovers. Now, Prenton Park's capacity is 16,700, which is a very big ground, and another ground which does have a nice big cop at the far end from the away end, which is a very decent stand. I do like it a lot. The main stand to the right of the away end when you're inside is also very nice looking. And Prenton Park in 3rd place for me, just a very nice ground overall, good away end, nice facilities, everything else. And Prenton Park, that is why you are in 3rd place. Now moving on into 2nd, we have got Doncaster's Keep Moat Stadium, and now this is a very good League Two ground, a capacity of 15,000. It does have a very modern feel to this one, nice big away end, and a lovely rounded stadium going all the way around, nice and modern. This is a style of stadium which I'm most favourable for. I do like this kind of stadium, which is why it has made its way into 2nd place here. And now into 1st place with a capacity of 25,000. A ground which should not be seeing League Two football is Valley Parade, home to the Bantams, Bradford City, and there's not much else to say. I'm sure a lot of you expected Valley Parade to be 1st position, and that they well are, with the main stand curving round to the behind the goal stand. That is a absolute work of art for a football stadium. Then the big long stand where the away fans are housed on the opposite side is also nice and cosy. It felt like a very good atmosphere when I was there, especially from the away fans and the coming together of the fans to stand with Ukraine at the time. A very good ground and a very nice day at Bradford. Well, it wasn't too good when I was there. However, if we did get there earlier than we did, it would have probably been a little better. But Bradford is 1st place for their Stadium Valley Parade because it is just a sensational stadium. I absolutely enjoyed watching all the fans pour into the stadium, and I enjoyed looking at that masterpiece. But that is going to conclude today's video and ranking of the League Two stadiums for the 2022-2023 season. Now, if you did enjoy the video, then please be sure to subscribe to the channel and even leave a like on the video. Hopefully, you will be returning to watch my next video, And also, if you haven't already, please check out my previous video where I ranked League 2 fans, because of course no stadium equals no fans. So these videos do go hand in hand, which is why I've done them one after another. So with that said, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.